for 17 years, this man hasn't been home for a Christmas. 15 years for a Thanksgiving. That's what this man gave up. When I talk about dedication to these girls and to this game of basketball, and it was a reluctant resignation. So again, that's why I'm retracting and saying he wasn't fired. I want to thank you for teaching them what a dedicated coach looks like. Thank you, everyone. I would like to have you tune into another episode of Coach Rodo's podcast, Winning Regardless. Today is not a retraction, but I'm going to do a correction. And it's really not a correction, but we'll just call it that. So when I was telling y'all about Kalamazoo Central firing their basketball coach, I hadn't talked to him about it yet. I had talked to some, people who were real close to the program. And, one of my buddies who we also trained the girls together, he was telling me about it because he was a little upset. But coach had called him and told him. Well, I had talked to coach, and then we had a discussion about it, and we just came to an agreement, the same agreement that they came to, that he resigned. And not they, the athletic director and him is what I'm saying. Not him, the principal and the coach. It was the athletic director and him. And it was a reluctant resignation. So again, that's why I'm retracting and saying he wasn't fired. It was the AD had him resign because he had a heart attack in the summertime, but he was cleared by his doctors. And by all accounts, when he and I talked, this was after his clearance, he had planned to coach 2 more years. So that's why I say resigned, because to me, and any other person that knows anything about coaching or is in the coaching field, you don't make plans for like your next season's girls if you plan on resigning. That is because he was already medically cleared, and that decision came upon him. But I still feel the way that I feel as far as we let a good one get away. We could have given him at least the 1 or 2 more years based on what he had done so far. I believe that he had earned that. Because again, 4 district championships in a 7 to 9 year time period, that's pretty good for a program that's not known for its girls program since Angel Lewis. And, girls like that was around. And this was like, late 80s, early 90s. I'm hoping that they get a girls coach that actually played there and that actually did something while she was there or played anywhere. One that these girls can respect based on the fact of her talent. Maybe I always believe that players in today's society react better to coaches that they have either witnessed play or have heard could play, or just know about them, because it kind of gives you more credibility, I feel, when in today's kids, when the kids know that you know the game and know that you played the game, I hope that this new coach is going to open up the gym as much as he did and be there for them girls, basketball wise. It was hard for him to be there for them, outside of basketball, for the simple fact of, I've already discussed how I felt that the parents thought about him, being the white guy coaching the black girls. And, the Hispanic girls. We're talking about a guy who had to deal with a parent where his daughter was starting, and she lost her starting position to somebody who was younger. And the dad, even though they won the districts and the daughter played, the dad is cussing him out after a district win. And he was like, Rodney, I'm not going to miss that. I mean, these are the things that I hope this coach is ready for. And he or she can understand that this is what you're walking into with these parents. You might think that they're your friend. Yeah, you're their friend until you coach their daughter, you know, and you're their friend until you do their daughter wrong in their eyes. Not understanding that you coaching. So, I hope that this new coach is prepared for the firestorm that comes with the understanding that there's a lack of fucking talent. And I hope you're ready for it. This guy spent a few years honing a little bit, pulling a little bit, and was restricted. And so going back to him, talking about him, having a conversation with him, he felt, and after talking to him, I agree. He felt that it was a blessing in disguise for him because, again, he planned on coming back next year. He planned on only coaching 2 more years and then quitting. Not quitting, but, turning the program over to another coach that was going to be one of his assistants, which was a young lady who played college basketball and also had a master's degree and played basketball at Lloyd Norris and at Kalamazoo Valley and is the Kalamazoo Valley's all-time leading assist leader. So it was going to be somebody with very, very high basketball IQ and intelligence and has coached before and also still plays. That was what he was preparing to turn it over to. So again, when I say resign, those don't sound like a sign of a person who's going to resign. But again, the athletic director wants us to believe that he resigned. So again, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise for this guy. Because after talking to him, we're talking about a guy who was, again, remember I told you how dedicated this man was. We're talking about a guy who hadn't been home to see his, or not see his family, but been on his family vacation for 15 to 17 years. Because he's here coaching with these girls, just being accessible for these girls for the gym. He hasn't been back for his mom and dad's birthdays. He's missed, nieces and nephews. He's missed cruises with his family. For 17 years, this man hasn't been home for a Christmas. 15 years for a Thanksgiving. That's what this man gave up. When I talk about dedication to these girls and to this game of basketball, and was forced to resign, or not forced, but resigned because the AD felt that the team wasn't, the program isn't where he think it should be. I don't know where he thought the program should be, but I thought there were strides being made. Yep, sometimes they will fall back, but again, lack of talent. It was never because of lack of dedication from the coach, because again, like I said, 15 to 17 years of no vacations, no seeing your family on holidays. Are you serious? You want to talk about dedication? Is this new coach going to be that person? Is this new coach that, feel is going to take this program in a direction, AD, that you believe that it should go in, going to show these girls that? Because Coach Plunkett did. Again, the guy couldn't get 2 more years to get, to get it to where his best player, who was a freshman, is a junior, and she's been coached very well for 2 years. So now to her junior year, she's flourished and getting these Division I offers, Division II offers. Because what people don't understand, when you have a player that's that young and that showed that much promising, when you have the coach resign, there's going to be a setback for this young lady, because now everything becomes new. Now she becomes confused because this ain't how I did it last year. And it was successful for me doing it this way last year. I was a freshman on the all-conference, first team all-conference. Now I got to do everything different because we got a new coach and I got to learn. But that doesn't just go for her. That goes for all of the girls. And then you got your ones that are going to be seniors who are just now starting to feel good, especially after winning the district, your sophomore that are going to be juniors, feeling great. We won the district and we were supposed to be last because we were so young and we wanted to. Now you got to start all over. He had some talent there. There's some serious talent, and I'm afraid of, as a coach, what we see happen to talent when the person who brought what we never knew that child had out of them gets replaced. We've seen it. We know it. We know. And I don't think the athletic director understands or know it. I really don't think this guy knows anything about sports. I think he's just going off of how he feels or what he thinks and what he hears, and he wants to be the parents' friends. Not understanding them parents don't give a damn about you. They give a damn about their kid. They using you to get what they want for their children when you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do for the program. I mean, a dedicated coach is what you're supposed to do for the program. Resumes are beautiful because the one thing about a resume is I can make that motherfucker say whatever I want it to say. I can make it sound, man, I can make that salt taste like sugar on the resume easily. But when I get in that gym, where's my dedication? When them girls frustrate you, will your dedication still be at that level? His was. When only one girl shows up to open gym all week, are you still going to go every day because you've only had that one girl? He did. Are you going to be that coach to block out all of the noise? Despite what you hear about you, despite what people say about you, your only focus is these girls. Are you going to be that person, or is that noise going to get to you because it didn't get to him? That dude knew what he was coming into. See, what people didn't know about Coach Plunkett is that dude comes from the hood. He didn't come from Bloomfield Hills or nothing like that. That dude comes from a basketball cultured hood. All he knew was the gym stayed open when he was a kid. So he said, when I became a coach, the gym was going to stay open for the kids that I coached. And it did. And that, to me, is what we lost. That, to me, is what coaching is. And I'll say why I say we lost, and I don't even know who the new coach is, because the gym would have already been open right now with Coach Plunkett. He would have been like, hey, yeah, Rodney, I can't meet you today. At 4:00, I got to be in there, open up the gym. And again, like I said, boys would come because they knew Coach Plunkett was opening up that gym, and there was 2 courts. He always said, man, there's 2 courts. The boys can go over there and play. They not hurting nothing. And the boys always knew that if Coach Plunkett was opening up the gym, they could come hoop. Not that they did. You know what I'm saying? My producer over here laughing because he knows, but, not that they did, but they knew that they could. And again, he didn't care if it was only one girl there all week. He was there at the same time for the same amount of time. Because like I said, he would say, well, Rodney, hey, I don't know. Another girl might come in a half an hour. Another girl might come in 45 minutes. Another girl might come in an hour. And it will still just be that one girl, but he don't care. He'll be here on Wednesday. This was a Monday. I'll be here on Wednesday doing the same old thing. That guy was dedicated. And though we're losing that dedication, and I hate it, and I love that about him, I love the way that he coached kids. I love the way that he coached girls, because he never coached them down. He always coached them up. The only way that you can win a district with a team that was picked to be last because you're the youngest team in the daggone conference and y'all win the district, that's because you coaching them girls up. You have never coached them down in the game. I watched them come back from a game 20 points down against the rivalry and win that doggone game. And the freshman girl was that MVP. of that game because I watched that game and that girl did some things and it wasn't even about making buckets. She got timely rebounds. She would make girls because she was a big, strong girl as a freshman. I mean, a strong girl. Them girls didn't want to run into her. So when they were dribbling out of control just to avoid her, they let that ball go out of bounds because they didn't want to run into that. And me as a coach, I see those type of things. That's an extra possession for us. That's a great job out there, young lady. Whereas the people don't see, if you're not coaching or don't coach, you don't really see the little nuances like that, And again, that girl played hard because Coach Plunkett coached up. He never coached down. And I hope that this new coach has the mental coaching aptitude to do the same. I'm not going to condemn the new coach right now because I don't know who it is, for one. For two, you always got to give him a chance. And as a coach, I never want to condemn a coach because I always believe that it falls on upbringing, player, then execution, which is coach. When I say your upbringing, how were you? What type of discipline did you have in the home? Were you held responsible? Were you held accountable? Now, are you doing the work that you need to put in to be great or to be good or to start or whatever you feel that you need to do? Are you doing the things that you're supposed to do? Are you a good person? Because again, when I had my nephew on here who played on USC, like he said, I didn't have the best grades in school, but I was a good person and I worked my ass off. So when I say is that you? Are you the kid that makes it easy for the coach? So all the coach has to do is work on execution with you. Because everything else, your mama and daddy, or your mom or your dad, whichever dynamic you are family-wise, has already instilled it in you from a young age. And then you took what they instilled in you and built upon it. Now it's my turn to teach you how to execute that in this sport that you work so hard to get good at. It's going to be a interesting season nonetheless, because again, these are going to be all new girls. It's going to be the same team, but to me, it's going to be all new girls because it's a new coach, new system. We don't know the demands because again, Coach Plunkett made them girls come to our workout that we did with the boys. The girls was doing the workout with the girls. Is this new coach going to put that same and instill that same discipline in those girls that they got to be there doing the workout that we know work? Because the varsity boys basketball coach tells us every year how they don't wear down. They haven't had those same injuries and things of that sort. Those are the things that we can help with. The other part we can't, the heart, we can't help them with that. The wanting to, be in the gym extra, we can't help them with that. But what we could help them with, we did. And the coach said that it every year that we do it, he sees it working. That's why he has us in. Coach Plunkett, for the last 3 or 4 years, has had the girls in because of the same thing. Is this new coach going to be dedicated to these girls in a manner of getting them strengthened, conditioned before basketball season starts so that injuries lessen? Because they're working on strength. They're working on conditioning, muscle, balance. These are the things that we have them work on. It's only for like 45 minutes to an hour, which is all you need, and I wonder, is this new coach going to demand that their girls be there? And it's not necessarily demand because we don't demand that they be there, but make their girls want to be there, make them understand that I'll see who's there and who's not, like it was when we was a kid. It's not mandatory, but I know who showed up and who didn't, so you didn't want to be the kid that didn't show up. So I wonder if this new coach is going to, make these girls feel that way. Because again, when basketball season was getting close and when we started, which was about August next month, as a matter of fact, when we get started, they were, the girls are there. And even the young ones, they were there, and you could see the struggle that they were having at the beginning. Because again, you had so many young girls that were 8th graders last year. Now they're freshmen, and some of them are going to be expected to play varsity because of our numbers being low. Again, like I said, no talent because no numbers. But you could see after 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 times of them doing it, they were getting better, which meant they were getting stronger. Their balance was getting better. Their mentality was changing with their successes. And that helps carry into the season. When you start out your season with small successes, when you see if you put in the work, you can get better. I hope that this coach takes that time to help these girls continue that, because Coach Plunkett put in a lot. And again, I'm happy for him. I'm not happy for these girls. I'm happy for him, though, because health-wise, it's going to be great for him. Mentally, it's going to be great for him because now he gets to sit back and eat popcorn and watch the game and listen to the parents talk about somebody else not knowing what they're doing. And he'll never critique the other coach because he is such a nice freaking guy. I mean, you would never, if you know him, he doesn't have anything bad to say about anybody. He is a nice guy. So he's not going to sit there and critique the other coach. But I think inside there'll be a little smile from him, and you know, it's going to be nice to see him get to be going home, you know, talking to him. Hey, where you going, coach? Oh man, I'm about to head home. We got, you know, going on our family cruise, which they do every year. And again, like I said, he's missed it for the last 15 to 17 years because he's coaching, 9 of them of which been here, you know. So this is a guy, again, who dedicated, you could say, his life to coaching girls. For the last 9 years, he's dedicated his life to us. And I thank him very much. Even though I'm not a Kalamazoo Central alum, I coached there a long time ago on the boys varsity team with one of my friends who was the varsity basketball coach. But man, I thank you for, you know, instilling in me a love of coaching and seeing a coach transform a mentality of just even me, man, like just being there for them girls every day with the gym open, just being a beacon of light. Like if you're having a bad day, oh, well, I know, you know, basketball can take that away. And I know Coach P going to be there with the door open. You know, I want to thank you for, you know, being that outlet for some of these girls. I want to thank you for, you know, helping some of these girls see their potential. You know, see that, you know, they're better basketball players than they thought. They just needed somebody to help them execute it. You know, I want to thank you for showing these girls what a fucking dedicated coach looks like, win or lose, because it's easy to motherfucking take it off and to sit down when you losing, but you never did, man. You kept that same energy when you lost as you did when you won, man. And I thank you for that, because I thank you for showing them girls that shit. You showed them girls you don't get to come back from 20 down against your rival like that unless that coach done instilled something in you, unless you saw something in that coach that made you believe that, man, we can come back on this. 20 points ain't nothing. We can come back from this. So it's something that you instilled in them girls to help them, you know, feel that way. And I just want to tell you, man, thank you. Thank you for possibly showing other coaches, not Ramsey, because Ramsey, my boy Ramsey, know what he doing. But I'm talking to other coaches, the JV coaches, the coaches on other schools that we played against. When they hear your story, or if they know your story, man, I want to thank you for teaching them what a dedicated coach looks like. Thank you, man. And that's why I wanted to come back and talk again about what happened really with him and the athletic director. He resigned, not fired, but again, you know, I just hope the best for the program. I hope the best for this new coach, because I'll stick to my guns and I'd say it to his face. I don't think the guy know what he's doing, but that's yet to be found out. And I wish this new coach all the success, and I wish this new coach all of the dedication and the hard work to be repeated and to be, if not continued, to be built upon. Thank you for tuning in to Coach Rodo's Winning Regardless podcast. Have a good day.